Hello everyone, welcome back to the 1989 Blue Yoda trifecta color. We're doing a 3/4 swap. Bought this truck yesterday. Got home, washed it, swapped out the wheels, and then took about 2 hours to yank out the 3.0. So 3.0 is removed already. We don't know what's wrong with it. Crank, no start, but the engine was halfway torn, so we just kind of yanked it out. No worry about troubleshooting. I poured out the oil. The oil is super milky. The oil isn't milky. It's very sluggish, almost like pudding. I didn't see any coolant or anything like that, but I don't know what's wrong there. The engine looks really nice because you can see it's been repainted. The center head looks like they've been machined and cleaned, and the alternator looks brand new. So this engine still has lots of good parts. We're not gonna use it. We're gonna give it to our buddy Andy. So when we're doing, so like I say, we're doing 3/4 swap, guys. So on your 3.0, you want to keep your oil pressure sensor. I don't need this one because I have minis already. You want to keep your engine mounts because we're putting those onto the 3/4 motor. Oil pan and oil pickup tube, you want to keep that. On the power steering, you want to keep the main banjo bolt along with the 2 copper washers. And then also the harness, you want to cut your harness right here and keep the rest of that 3.0 harness from the to the ECU and to the transmission. And then that's pretty much all we need from this engine. We don't need anything else. So this is going to be donated to another Toyota gearhead. It's a rainy day here in Alaska. Fall season is upon us. She's beautiful. I'll show you guys what we're gonna do in the engine bay. There's some things we need to prep up, but we'll worry about the engine later. As far as engine bay prep up, it's pretty easy. Nothing much, nothing crazy. The fuse box is somewhat broken, so I'm gonna be looking for another fuse box to replace it. I think the past owner was troubleshooting it and he broke it. So here is our donor engine. This is a 2000 Tacoma 3.4 manual ECU. So we're going for manual, which is very nice. When I bought this Tacoma, it was running already. Ran great, has 209,000 miles. They recently did the timing belt, but we're going to go ahead and put a new one. You can tell they put a new water pump, but this is an aftermarket one. So I'm going to put a ASIN water pump. I'm going to put a new ASIN oil pump, front main seal, and then we'll put a brand new belt. We'll reuse the bearings and the tensioner because they're still good. Put a new thermostat and go from there. I did went ahead and clean the valve covers. Put new valve cover gasket. I checked the spark plugs when I bought this engine, and they pretty much put new spark plugs in there as well. So we don't need to do spark plugs, but these are things you should do if you haven't done it. We're gonna go ahead and put some rebuilt OEM injectors just for the heck of it, and then we're also gonna pop this main valley intake, put new gasket. This is an aftermarket knock sensor harness. This is a Dorman. This is the one I use as well. So this one's been replaced, but I have plenty of these in stock, so we'll go ahead and take this one out and put a new one just while we're in there. On the 2000 3/4 blocks, they don't have the whole drill for the dipstick. So this you have to do a side dipstick, and this is where it is. If your engine is older, from 99 and older, the hole is already here. It's just plugged up with a filler plug. You just have to tap it from the bottom, and then you can put a dipstick. So this one doesn't have it yet. Toy only swap. They sell a template where you can put the template on and then drill it, and then it's really easy. It takes about maybe 5-10 minutes. The 3.0 engine came with the oil cooler plate. So I went ahead and took that off, and we'll do an oil cooler delete, plug this up, and then the new water pump that we ordered is for a T100 3/4, which has a block off already on this water pump. If you don't have that, you can block this off or cap it off. We'll put a new oil filter. This is a 3.0 oil pressure sensor, and you must use a 3.0. You can't use a 3/4. You can use a 3/4, you might blow up your gauge cluster. So once I get this drilled up, we'll put the new oil dipstick, and then like I said, we'll go ahead and clean this up a little bit, all the oils and stuff, brake cleaner and such. We're also going to have to remove the exhaust manifold just to get a better angle to drill it. So once we get this removed, we'll put new exhaust gaskets. And then on this side, you don't have to do much on this side. Since we're putting a new exhaust gasket on that side, I'll go ahead and remove this, and we'll put new exhaust manifold gasket as well. Passenger side's pretty simple. We're not doing AC or anything like that. And then I went ahead and opened up this is your drain plug for the block to coolant. I always like to drain it and make sure you clean the brass. Put that in there. On the 3/4, sometimes they have this piece here. This is just a spout to make the coolant don't go rushing everywhere. And when you do a 3/4 swap, you just have to get your pliers and remove this out of the way. Because if you don't do that, your engine mount, this is a 3.0 engine mount, the 3.0 engine mount's gonna hit it. You can see that. So super simple to do, nothing crazy. Once you put your plug back in, even with this removed, it's not gonna leak or anything like that. So this gets trash. And then, like I said, we'll probably clean this up a little bit, get the wire brush and degrease it a little bit just so it's a bit nice. You can see the cylinder head is still greasy from the past valve job or the valve gasket. So once everything all sealed up, we'll go ahead and spray a ton of brake cleaner and try to clean as much as possible. And then this Tacoma, this 3.4 engine was a manual truck, so it actually has a brand new ace and clutch and flywheel, so we don't have to spend money and do a new one or anything like that. This is your coolant temperature sensor. It's all the way in the back. I always like to remove this and then clean it up and wire brush it and then reinstall it, because it's good to do that, because if you don't do that, and if you get a coolant temperature reading that's kind of inaccurate, it might be because of the sensor, it might be dirty. So easy to do. Pop this open, clean it up. And then there's also another one right here. This is your engine coolant temperature sensor. This tells the ECU, hey, I'm cold right now, get me more fuel, more air. So you can also pop that open, unscrew that open, and then clean that up as well. It's just a sensor. But other than that, guys, it's pretty easy. All the spark plug wires are still good, so we're gonna reuse all that. All these hoses are still good, so no need to replace. And then overall, it's a very easy. This is a 3/4 fuel line hose. We'll go ahead and reuse this as well. When I pull this engine out, I just cut the main hard line, so you just need to take out that piece, and then it just butts up right into, it taps right into your 3.0 hard line gas. But other than that, guys, I'm not gonna show you guys too much on getting this motor ready. It's pretty simple, like I said, easy to do. And like I said, once we get everything freshened up, I have an oil pump. The oil pump came in already. I'm just waiting for the new water pump. It should be here next week. So once that gets here, we'll be able to install the timing belt and then put this engine back in. But today I'm gonna be cleaning the bottom of the oil pan. I'm gonna removing the oil pump, and then we can at least install the oil pump. We can do the dipstick, drill the dipstick. We can install the 3.0 oil pickup and oil pan. So that's all sealed down there. And then the only thing we need to do now is just wait for that water pump to come in, and then we can put in the timing belt and then drop this motor in. I have a crossover that's been modified already to dump on the driver's side. So that's all we need. So once we have that, once that's installed, we can drop this engine in, and then everything else we can do later down the road. And then we'll also go ahead and do this intake manifold. And then the wire harness has been sent to my buddy John already, so he'll take care of the wire harness. Once he's done with that, we can install the harness even with this engine already in the truck, so easy to do. Here's the 3.4 crossover. This is a original 3.4. It usually dumps onto the passenger side, and then like I say, it's been modified to dump on the driver's side. This is also done by John, who built my harness. So like I say, it's always nice to have these just ready to go. So this is one that was already on the shelf. So super simple. We'll go ahead and put all new nuts and put all new gaskets once it's ready. Original oil pump has been removed, Toyota ASIN. I'm pretty sure this one's still good. I always just like to replace the oil pump just for the heck of it. You know, it's less than $100 for a new ASIN one. Make sure that when you remove this oil pump and you install it, you always have to put a new O-ring. This O-ring is very important. You can't just use anything you find at the parts store. It's a Toyota O-ring, and I'll put the part number on the screen here. And I always have plenty of these in stock. But these things will get really hard and brittle. And if you start losing oil pressure, it might be one of the reasons why, because maybe oil is not sealing properly. So we'll put a new one, clean this up, and put a new ASIN oil pump. This is the ASIN oil pump from Amazon, ASIN OPT-021. So we'll put a new O-ring on it, and then you also have to put a new front main seal. And then I'm gonna go ahead and wire brush all these bolts. I like to put the bolts back where they are so I know exactly where they go. There's only two different sizes, the short ones and two long ones. The two long ones usually goes on the bottom, and that's about it. So this is a T100 oil pump. So you can see right there, that's where the dipstick used to go on a 3.4. It's been plugged up already. Whereas this one, it's not plugged up. So if you were to reuse this, and if you're on a budget and you want to reuse your oil pump, you can clean it up really good, reuse it, put RTV, put a new O-ring, but then you have to find a way how to plug this up. Now, they do make some freeze plug where you can plug it up, or what I've done in the past is I tap it, and then I put a bolt on it, and then I put RTV on that bolt so it doesn't, so it seals up properly. I don't really like doing it that way anymore. I like to just buy the correct one, which is the OPT-021. It's fully cast off already, so you know there won't be any leaks in the future. Okay, this is the template from Toy Only Swap. This is to drill your block for the dipstick. Oil filter remove, engine mount remove, exhaust manifold remove, oil cooler remove for easy access. It just bolts up to these two bolts right here. This is originally your ground, where your ground goes to. These hose weren't used for anything, so if they're all gunked up in oil, you might want to put some, you might want to chase it real quick so that you can screw on the bolts for it. So it just screws on like that, and then this sits right on top of this block here. You can adjust the slide where you want it, like that, but you want to center it as much as possible, and then you just drill it. It does come with the drill bit from Toy Only Swap. I forgot what size that is, but it definitely, if you're doing this a lot, it's definitely worth having this little template here. You can try doing it by eyeballing it yourself, but you just got to make sure you have steady hands, because this is a one-time thing. You don't want to screw up. So go ahead and drill it. Take your time. Use some oil, WD-40, whatever, to keep the drill bit cool. And then the hole comes out pretty clean. So let me do that real quick, and I'll show you guys the aftermath. Here's what it looks like. Mount it up. Two 14 mils. Like I said, just start drilling from the top. And this is the reason why you want to have the manifold removed. It's actually much easier when you have the head removed too. I've done it in the past where the heads were removed. So this is actually my first time doing it with the heads on. And I think there's actually a little interference right here. So oh yeah, my drill bit's not going in really smooth. So that kind of sucks. Let me see how I'm gonna do this. Well, here's the solution to drilling the block with the cylinder head on. Like I said, I'm used to doing it with the cylinder head off because I always do a head gasket, but this engine don't need a head gasket. So now we use the angle. I did one more modification for the drill bit. I chopped off about 3/4 inch off to make this drill bit just a little bit shorter, because I was hitting right here. So we should fit in really nice now. Let me go ahead and put this back on. There we go, much better. You can see the top right here isn't hitting the head. It was like that earlier, which kind of messed it up. So now we have a nice straight cut through it. So let me go and cut it. This does take about a while. The first time I did it, it took me almost 8 minutes or so. So just take your time. Don't go crazy. Let it cool off. Clean the shavings, and then also some kind of lubrication, WD-40, whatever. So take your time, guys. No.
Hello, guys. This is the engine we're fixing.
Well, Daddy will talk. Daddy's gonna be the talker.
Yeah.
You're just the video man.
Yeah.
Video kid. Okay, so my son's gonna help me. I think I'm halfway through the hole right here. So make sure you see me, okay? Back up a little bit so you can see all Daddy.
Yeah, I need to sit.
You need to sit?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a break. Go sit down.
This.
Hold it. Alright, that took a while, but we got it. I was doing like maybe 15 seconds, pulling it out, cleaning it, lubing it. I did that about almost 15 times, so you do have to keep in mind that if you do decide to cut this drill bit, where I told you guys earlier, don't cut it too much, because you do need the length of the drill bit, because later on you're gonna bottom out, and if you're too short, you're not gonna be able to cut through. So my best option would be to get 2 drill bits, one full size, and then one that's slightly cut. So when you're gonna bottom out and you still need that length, you can swap over to the longer one. But there it is, the hole is in there. We got the hole in there. You can see right there. Right, that's where the hole is. Right there. So just go ahead and remove this plate, clean it up real good, and then after that you can put on your engine mount, 3.0 engine mount. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, clean all this up while we're here, and then I'll show you guys the after. Here's a look what it looks like behind the plate. You can see that that's all shavings. So be very careful, don't spray airware. Slowly clean it and then get it all away from this area here. You might actually want to keep the oil filter on because you don't need the oil filter removed when you do this, but for me it doesn't matter. I'm gonna spray everything down. Here it is. We have a nice clean cut, and then like I said, you need a dipstick union that goes in there, and that one I'll show you guys how to install that. You pretty much just line it up and it's a press fit. You can hammer that in real good. But once you have that, then you can put in your dipstick. And that's how you do the side mount on the 3034. This is the oil dipstick union that you need. They still make it from Toyota. You can see it doesn't just slide in, but it's going to be a press fit. So what I like to do is I put a brass drift or a brass hammer on it, and then you can just hammer it in. And you'll know when it's completely flush in there. So just make sure you use something brass. Currently have the 3.4 on a hoist here. You guys saw earlier the way I mounted my engine onto the bell housing because I had the clutch on. So when you mount it to the bell housing, it's very hard to flip it upside down because there's so much weight on the front end. So really don't mount your engine on a bell housing unless you're mounting that engine for demonstration purpose or long-term storage. But if you're going to be working on it and you want to flip it over, you need to put it back on a regular stand so that there's no front heavy lift. So while I have it on a hoist, I always like to do the rear main seal. I pop the housing off, put new RTV, clean it up really good. The throwout bearing's still new and all, but we'll put a new rear main seal, reseal that up, and then we'll put it back on a regular stand, and then we'll flip it over, do the pickup tube, put the oil pan on, and then we'll be good on the bottom end. We won't need to do anything else. After that, we just need to do the front end, the oil pump, wait for the water pump to arrive next week, put on the timing belt, and then we'll do the rest. So after I'm done with the oil pan and the rear main seal, I'm put it on the engine. I'm gonna put it on a stand, and then I'm gonna tackle the intake valley. I'm gonna remove this intake valley, put a new gasket, clean it up, probably put a new knock sensor harness, and then put new fuel injector. Not new fuel injector, but put my refresh rebuilt injectors that I always send to Injector Masters, and then slap on the crossover, slap on the clutch, and then this engine will be going into the truck next week. So really the only thing we're waiting for right now is just the water pump. We don't have that water pump. Everything else we have, so we won't be able to drop this engine tomorrow. If I had the water pump, this engine will most likely be going into the truck tomorrow because I have everything else already except for that water pump. And I could drop it in to the truck, but I really don't want to do the water pump, and I really don't want to do the timing belt while this engine is on the truck, just because it's just more hassle. So like I said, we're not in a rush or anything like that. So let me go ahead and do this real quick, and then we'll go from there. We have the housing on, all new RTV, cleaned up really nice. New rear main seal, made in Japan. The way I like to do this rear main seal is I put the housing on first, and then I lube the inner ring of the seal, and then I work it in, and then I take an O seal and I put it on top of here, and then I just slightly hammer the O seal so I don't damage the new seal. And you just want to work it in until the seal's flush with the housing. So once that's all good, if you need to do your pilot bearing, this is the time to do it. So make sure you do it. And then when you're getting ready to put everything back on, make sure you take the 10 mil and also put on your spacer plate. So a lot of people, they put on their clutch, their flywheel, and all that fun stuff, and then they realize they forgot this piece here. I'm not sure how important this piece is. I mean, it does act like a little spacer, but it's needed in there. Make sure the dowel pins are lined up. And then put this 10 mil, just snug it in. Doesn't need to be crazy tight. These 10 mil here, you don't want to tighten them too much. Tighten them too much and you might snap the head off of it. So when you get to tightening these 10 mil, stop using the drill and go hand tool. And just go nice and snug. Don't go too crazy. So just like that, it's good. Engine's upside down. We got the fresh new Asen oil pump. Bolted up, new RTV. Put a new main seal, front main seal made in Japan. Altron brand. I have to go clean up the oil pickup tube. We are using the 3.0 oil pickup tube. We do have to make one modification. So this is the oil pickup tube for a 3.0. We use a 3.0 pickup tube and a 3.0 oil pan. It's a direct bolt-on. Make sure you put a new gasket right there where it goes into the oil pump. So you can see how it mounts right there and at that leg. But this leg right here does not go anywhere. So what we do with this leg is I just cut it off. I cut it off and then now it's held on by that bolt and these two nuts down here. Make sure you torque this one back down because this is one of the bolt that came off when you removed that 3.4 pickup tube. 3.0 oil pickup tube is all nice and clean. Like I say, you went ahead and cut that leg off. That leg we don't need. We just slap it on like that. Make sure to screw that one down. And make sure to pop this one over. And also, do not use RTV for this gasket section, guys. Here's the part number. Toyota still makes it. I do this so much that I always have these extra along with that O-ring for that oil pump. So that's the gasket right there. 15147-62020. Super cheap. Get yourself a few of these if you do this a lot of time. And again, don't cheap out. You're not supposed to use the RTV. Use this paper style gasket. So let me slap this on real quick and then we'll be ready to slap on the oil. New gasket. Use the original nuts and the original bolt. Make sure you do hand tight and make sure you do not drop anything into this block. There's a good chance you can get it back out, but you don't want to do anything, have anything nearby that you don't want to drop in there. During this time, you don't want your kids around the garage or anything like that, or people that shouldn't be in the garage with you. So whenever I do this little detail stuff, I don't have anybody here messing around, touching around, throwing things around, because you don't want to put the oil pan on and start the engine and find out there's a freaking 10mm nut in there. So let me grab the two nuts, tie it up, and we'll be good. Alright, oil pan's officially on. RTV, it's snug right now. I have to go back and I'll go back in 10 minutes and tighten them up real good. The only thing we're waiting for now is just the water pump. Like I said, can't do the timing belt until we get the water pump. And then that's pretty much it. Once we put the water pump on, timing belt, do the intake valley. We'll do that tomorrow. And then we'll do the clutch. And then really this engine is ready to be dropped into the truck. So when you do the dipstick mod, you need that union piece. The one that we installed when we drilled it. And then you also need the dipstick itself, right there. This is the dipstick, 15301-62060. You can still order it from Toyota. And then this is the oil level gauge, they call it, 11452-62060, which is this piece right here. You also got to make sure you get the new O-ring. There's an O-ring at the bottom of that. I'll put it in the screen here. And then put a little bit of oil on that, and then it just slides right in, and then it bolts to the alternator bracket. There's these two 10mm right here. It goes right there, so I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in there, slap it on, and I'll show you how it looks. There you have it for the dipstick. Like I said, it just bolts onto those 10mm. Here's your new dipstick. Here's your new dipstick right there. Make sure you put a little bit of oil right at that rubber piece so that when it goes right here, it doesn't get caught up, and I'll go nice and smooth in there. So just put it like that. When I'm installing this engine into the engine bay, sometimes I like to actually remove this dipstick, just this piece here, just the dipstick itself, so that when I'm moving this engine, I don't grab it because I have the tendency to grab this section here, and I don't want to bend this. So you can leave it like that for now, but maybe when you're dropping this motor in, maybe remove this dipstick out of the way so that you don't bend this handle piece. But that's it right there, guys. Pretty simple. Current time is 1 a.m. guys. Oh yeah, 1 a.m. So I've been working all day, stopping, running errands, doing family stuff. I did went ahead and sold those 15-inch wheels that came on that blue truck, 33, 12, 5, 15. I sold them for $1,500, so all that money will goes back into the 3/4 swap. So guys, we're gonna wrap up today's video. The next video, we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and show you guys me dropping this engine into the engine bay. As far as the timing belt, water pump, as far as the clutch, I'm not gonna show any of that because that's super simple. Straight bolt-on, nothing to do, nothing to modify. And then as far as prepping the engine bay, I'm not going to show you guys how to do that because I have a video on that already on how to prep it, so you guys can check that out if you guys are looking to do it. So the next video, guys, you guys see on here, we're going to be dropping this motor in and we're going to be having some fun. Hopefully we get a first start within the next 2 weeks, but for the most part, I do have some other parts coming in right now for this swap, so we do have to wait for some more parts, and then I got to start ordering all the exhaust stuff and stuff like that. I have the muffler on order, and I need to go order some other exhaust components, and then we can start building the exhaust, because once we get this engine in, we can start building the exhaust, and after that we can wait on the harness. Once the harness comes in, everything comes in, boom, we can plug it up, and hopefully we get a first start. Hopefully it runs good. Well, I know the motor runs good, but hopefully the truck itself runs fine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to stay up to date daily on what I'm doing, make sure you guys follow the Instagram and watch the stories, because I'll keep you guys updated on that every day. _NuttyNu_404. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.